My name is Leon Carter. I was 28 when I decided to test how my wife's family treated someone they thought was worthless. I never told anyone about my income. $40,000 a month. Clean, consistent, invisible. I kept my life simple on purpose. Old car, basic clothes, no noise. Because money changes how people see you. And I wanted to see clearly. The invitation came from my wife. "Dinner at my parents' house," she said. "Be normal." Normal. I smiled at that. "Of course," I replied. That evening, I dressed down. Worn shoes, plain shirt, nothing that suggested anything more. I showed up exactly how they expected. Broke, naive, forgettable. The door opened. Her mother. Quick scan, top to bottom, already judging. "Come in," she said. No warmth, no interest. Inside, the house was full. Relatives, voices, laughter. All of it paused when I walked in. Not silence, just shift.
The kind people don't notice unless they're looking for it. Curious. I shook hands, introduced myself, watched reactions, measured, quiet. Then her father spoke, loud enough for everyone. "So, this is the man who can't provide for my daughter." The room laughed, soft, controlled, but enough. I didn't respond, just smiled slightly. Because the moment you react, you lose the advantage. And tonight, I wasn't there to fit in. I was there to understand exactly who they were. Dinner started without me. That's what it felt like. I was at the table, plate in front of me, but not part of it. Conversations moved around me, through me, like I wasn't there. Her father kept leading it. Stories about success, money. Real men. Every sentence, pointed. Every laugh, measured. "So what do you do again?" he asked suddenly. Eyes on me, everyone listening. I took a sip of water. "Consulting," I said simply. He smirked. "That sounds like a job you say when you don't have one." More laughter, not loud, but enough. I nodded once, didn't defend it, because explanation is what people expect. Silence confuses them. Her mother leaned forward. "My daughter deserves stability," she said, "not someone figuring life out." I looked at my wife. She didn't speak, didn't defend me, just stayed quiet. That told me more than anything else. Across the table, one of her cousins whispered something. I caught one word. "Upgrade." I almost smiled, because now I understood the room. Not just the people, the mindset. They didn't hate me. They dismissed me. And dismissal is always built on assumption. Her father leaned back, satisfied, like he had already made his point. And that's when I decided I'd let them keep talking, just a little longer. Because the longer people show you who they are, the harder it hits when reality replaces it. They kept going. Stories got louder, sharper, less filtered. Because once a room agrees on who you are, they stop pretending. "So what's your plan?" her father asked. "Or are you just comfortable like this?" I set my fork down. "Comfortable enough," I replied. He laughed. "That's the problem," he said. "Comfort kills ambition." I nodded slightly. "Sometimes," I said. He didn't catch it. Didn't need to. Because this wasn't a debate. This was observation. Her mother jumped in. "We've been telling her," she said, glancing at my wife. "She needs someone who can elevate her." Elevate. I looked at my wife again. Still quiet, still watching, not agreeing, not disagreeing, just letting it happen. That told me everything. Across the table, a man I hadn't met leaned forward. "So, how much do you make?" he asked directly. The room shifted again. Now it was curiosity, not judgment. Numbers decide value in rooms like this. I wiped my hands slowly, looked at him. "Enough," I said. That didn't satisfy him. Of course not. "Ballpark," he pushed. Her father smirked again. "Let him think it's a mystery," he said. More laughter. I leaned back in my chair, relaxed, because now, they weren't just dismissing me, they were defining me. And once people commit to a version of you, they don't prepare for anything else. That's when the truth becomes expensive. The plates were cleared. Dessert came out. Conversation shifted, but not really, because everything still circled back to one thing: me, or what they thought I was. Her father poured himself another drink, didn't offer me one, not by accident. "You know," he said casually, "we had someone interested in her before." My wife didn't react. That stood out. "Successful guy," he continued, "owns multiple properties, travels, real stability." He looked at me, measured, deliberate. Different level. The message was clear. Comparison. Replacement. I nodded once. "Sounds impressive," I said. That surprised him. He expected resistance, not agreement. Her mother leaned in. "It's not too late to think about your future," she said to my wife. There it was, out loud now, no filter, no respect. I looked at her again, waiting, hoping maybe. Just a word, a sentence, something. She took a sip of water, said nothing. And that was it. That was the moment everything changed. Not the insults, not the jokes, the silence. I leaned back slightly, exhaled, because now I wasn't testing them anymore. I had my answer. And once you understand people completely, you stop trying to fit into their world. You start deciding how to exit it. I didn't leave right away. That would have been reaction. And reaction gives people control. Instead, I stayed, finished my dessert, listened to them talk about investments I had already outgrown, properties I could have bought without thinking. It was almost interesting. Her father stood up eventually. "Let me show you something," he said to the table. Everyone followed, except me. I stayed seated, watching. He walked to a glass cabinet, opened it. Inside, documents, framed certificates, photos, proof, status, image. "This," he said proudly, "is what real success looks like." They all leaned in, nodding, admiring. I stood up slowly, walked over, not to compete, just to observe. He turned to me. "You should take notes," he said. I looked at the documents, then at him, calm, steady. "I don't collect proof," I replied quietly. That threw him off. "What does that even mean?" he asked. I didn't answer, because explanation would have lowered it. Instead, I stepped back, looked around the room one more time. Every face, every reaction, every silence. And that's when I made the decision. Not to argue, not to prove anything, but to let reality speak in a way they couldn't ignore. Just not tonight. I left without a scene. No argument, no explanation, just a quiet good night that no one bothered to return. In the car, my wife finally spoke. "You embarrassed me," she said. I glanced at her. "By sitting there?" I asked. "By not saying anything," she replied. "They think you're nothing." I nodded once. "That's what you think too?" I asked. Silence, long enough to matter. "I just wish you were more ambitious," she said. There it was, not their voice, hers, clean, unfiltered. I didn't argue, didn't defend, just drove. Because once someone says it out loud, you don't need to guess anymore. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because I was upset, because I was clear. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, logged into accounts no one knew existed. Income streams, investments, assets, everything I kept invisible, on purpose. I stared at the numbers for a long time. Not proud, not emotional, just aware. Then I made a few calls, quiet ones, no explanations, just instructions. Because proving something to people like them is a waste, but letting them realize it themselves, that's different, that's permanent. And by the time they understood what they were laughing at, it wouldn't be a conversation anymore. It would be a consequence. 3 days later, her father called. Not polite this time, direct. We need to talk, he said. I almost smiled. About what? I asked. A pause. Then, your situation. I agreed to meet. Same house, same table, same people. But the room felt different the moment I walked in. Less relaxed, more cautious. Because this time, they had questions. Her father didn't waste time. What exactly do you do? He asked. No jokes, no smirks, just tension. I sat down slowly. Consulting, I said again. That didn't satisfy him. Of course not. We looked into you, he said. There's nothing. I nodded. That's the point. Silence. Then I placed a single document on the table. Not a stack, just one. Enough. He looked at it, didn't touch it at first. Then slowly, he did. His expression changed. Not dramatically. Just enough. What is this? He asked. Income summary, I replied. His wife leaned in, then his daughter, then everyone. Numbers don't need explanation. They speak. Loud, clear, final. He looked back at me. Different now. Respect mixed with something else. Regret. Why didn't you say anything? He asked. I leaned back slightly, calm. Because you already decided who I was, I said. Silence filled the room again. But this time, no one laughed. No one spoke for a while. They just stared at the paper, at the numbers, at the version of me they never considered. Her father cleared his throat, sat back slowly. You should have been up front, he said. I shook my head. No, I replied calmly. You should have been respectful. That landed. Hard. Because it wasn't about money anymore. It was about how quickly they decided my value. Her mother tried to recover. We didn't know. You didn't try to, I said. Silence. Again. But heavier now. My wife finally spoke. Soft. Careful. Why hide it from me? She asked. I looked at her. Long enough to matter. Because I wanted to know if you'd stand next to me without it, I said. She didn't answer. Didn't need to. Because she already had. That night. At that table. I stood up, not angry, not dramatic, just finished. I'm not here to prove anything, I said. I just wanted to see clearly. Her father looked down at the paper again. Different man now, less certain, more aware. And as I walked out of that house, I didn't feel like I won anything, because some truths don't feel like victory. They feel like distance, permanent, clean, necessary.